Well, my friends, if you are watching this video, that means you've made it to the final part of the Learn How to Podcast 101 video tutorial series. You know, when this was originally recorded on Saturday, September 3rd, 2011, we had 165 people during the live webinar. This video includes the Q&A session that happened at the end of the already more than 2 hours of instruction that's been provided in this tutorial. I've decided to take the best of the Q&A session and include that here in this final video, and I'm going to go ahead and share the best of the questions and answers with you now. Quick question from West Germany. I like mics attached to my head. Could you recommend one? You know what? Pretty much any of them are going to be good as long as they are dynamic. I would recommend doing a search for Sennheiser. Those are probably going to be about the best, but just make sure that they're dynamic and not condenser. Hank is asking, aren't you concerned about feed burner outages? Why not host your own RSS feed on your site, full control, or why not submit Libsyn RSS directly to iTunes? Well, I don't want to use Libsyn automatically to iTunes because what if Libsyn decides, because Libsyn's owned by Wizard Media, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but what if Wizard Media decides they want to quit doing the podcast game? And so all of a sudden now I'd have to worry about whether or not I'm going to get that. The thing is I know the folks over at Libsyn, and they would do the iTunes redirect for me. I don't even want to bother with working with them. I've just been using FeedBurner for the last 5 years and have never had any outages with FeedBurner. And why would I not want to host it on my own site? Because to be honest with you, I have more than 30 different podcasts that I've launched, and Podcast Answer Man is a perfect example. It used to exist at generallyspeakingpodcast.com, and I slowly moved away from that and turned it over to gspn.tv. And of course, I could do my own iTunes redirect, but I'd have to get into WordPress and manually manipulate the RSS feed coding and how it lays it out. It's too much trouble, and I've actually moved from it used to be generallyspeakingpodcast.com, then it was gspn.tv. I changed the category listings, and eventually I made Podcast Answer Man its own site at podcastanswerman.com. So I've never had to notify anybody. I've never had to update an RSS feed. I simply go into FeedBurner, change the original feed from where it's pulling from, and it's done. So Hank, hopefully that answers why I do that. What's a good source for music to play as an intro and a podcast that is legal? 2, musicbakery.com. Again, that's musicbakery.com. And that is a place where you will get some higher quality music, I think, but they're going to run you about $30 to $50 per song. And you buy it once and you have a license to use it as many times as you want. However, I encourage you to check out jewelbeat.com, Jewel, Jewel, BEAT.com, and that's where you can get songs for your podcast for 99 cents a piece, and I use it now as well. Do you have an affiliate for Thesis for WordPress? Yes. If you go to podcastanswerman.com on the right-hand side of my site, you'll see a little thing that says services and stuff that I recommend. You'll see a little tiny square image. I think it's 125 by 125 pixels. It says Thesis. And just click on that and it'll take you there. Or you can just type in gspn.tv/thesis, I think. Alrighty. Is there a reason your iTunes feed only has the last 50 episodes of Podcast Answer Man? Yes, because that's all I make available on that feed. However, all episodes of Podcast Answer Man are available for free on my website. And I do have this thing, and it is completely 100% voluntary. But if you go to gspn.tv/plus, you can become a Plus member. And you could actually become a Plus member for a one-time contribution of $1, and you're a Plus member for life. You can read all about it there. And of course, I'm going to tell you this, you could actually buck the system. Everything's on the honor system when it comes to this. So you could go to gspn.tv/plus access. And again, that's gspn.tv/plus access. Click Plus Member Feeds. It'll tell you right here how to subscribe to it. And if you do that, you could subscribe to Podcast Answer Man right here. Podcast Answer Man, and this is going to have every single episode of Podcast Answer Man via RSS. I have access to a blue Snowball microphone. Is this good enough to start with? Well, this goes back to where I talked about. That blue Snowball microphone is a condenser microphone. Let me give you some tips on this. Do you happen to have a laptop that doesn't have a fan that's really loud and noisy? If so, take your blue Snowball microphone, plug it in via USB into your laptop, and go into a walk-in closet where you've got lots of clothes, and it dampens and deadens the sound in there. Close the door behind you. Make sure that you put t-shirt and shorts on because you're going to sweat, and record your podcast with your blue Snowball inside of that closet, and you could potentially come out with a really good podcast. In fact, I'm going to tell you, if you do it right, you can use that blue Snowball and make it sound great. It's just not going to sound great with you turned up too high and your voice echoing off the walls. John says, once you have FeedBurner set up, am I correct that you do not need to go to iTunes and submit again? Once you have FeedBurner set up, yes. So once you have FeedBurner set up and you sent your FeedBurner to iTunes, from that point forward, as long as you put, the original feed, as long as it gets the link to the MP3 file, FeedBurner will see that. It will automatically update FeedBurner, and every time people who are subscribed via iTunes, including the iTunes directory, as soon as they go and look at the FeedBurner feed, it will automatically update. So yes, once you've submitted to iTunes, you're done there. The rest happens automatically. I'm interested in the A to Z course, but due to crazy work hours and the fact that I'm in London, I'm worried that I won't be able to make the most of your time in terms of Q&A. If something comes up post the 4 weeks, would you be able to still ask questions? The answer is no. After the end of the 4 weeks, the questions are closed down. I usually get 40 to 100 plus emails every single day, and there's just no way I can answer consulting/equipment /podcasting questions via email. So no. But I will tell you, we've had people from 7 different time zones in Podcasting A to Z, and it's all in discussion group format. So it's a discussion forum. You'll actually have a discussion forum with your name on it. In fact, let me go ahead and log into it real quick here, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So if I go here for my July course, for example, and I'll log right in, and you can see here's Randy Vandervate. Actually, let's go into somebody else here. Farnoosh and Andy Brock, 168 replies back and forth. So you can say, Farnoosh and Andy were in my class, and it says, this discussion thread is 100% devoted to you. Please take a moment to start it off by telling us about who you are and what you want to accomplish and stuff like that. And she goes in here, and you can see every time she posted something, I gave her, every time she asked a question, I gave an answer. And you can see real quickly here, my answer is not short, brief, and to the point. Look at this. I literally, most times when I answer a question, I usually spend probably about 20 to 30 minutes per question. This right here, everything you see on your screen, that's one answer to a question there. So you can see every time there's a question, it's answered. And this is just one of the 30, I think it was either 30 or 20 people in this class. I think it was 28 people in this class. But look, every time she posted something, you see my name in there. You see me actually doing, I post videos in there. I mean, it's just, it's fun stuff. And so here's the thing. My schedule is pretty hectic, and you post these in, and I usually answer your questions within a couple hours, if not by the end of the next day. So that's how the class works. So there's been there have been several people who have taken my class, and they're never awake at the same time as I am, and they've gotten everything they need out of the course. Erica says, if we have more than one podcaster and not a big budget at this point, what's the cheapest way to broadcast with more than one person on basic equipment? I would say, well, if you can't afford the Roland recorder and you want to record 2 people up front, I still prefer going the route of a digital audio recorder. All right. And if we go to Amazon, and by the way, folks, I do not like this recorder. I do not like it. Zoom H1. All right. $99, $100, whatever. I would not recommend this for anybody except for people who just can't afford more. $100, you can sit down and use this and record your podcast that way. Just make sure that you record it in WAV format, and don't record it in an empty room where your voice is going to echo off the walls. Go into a place with good soundproofing, or go into a place that's going to give a good environment in the background. All right, let's see. Justin says, for field interviews, in addition to the Adderall recorder, whatever equipment, microphones, I stand for the Adderall portable mixer, do you recommend? For field interviews, I don't recommend anything other than the roll-in recorder that's in your pocket. If you want, you can go to podcastanswerman.com/Adderall, and I have a tutorial there. But really, honestly, there's nothing more than the roll-in recorder that's necessary. Now, you can use a dynamic microphone and plug it in. I have one. I never use it anymore. So really, just field interviews, roll-in recorder only. That's my recommendation. Why not use Amazon S3 for storage instead of Libsyn? I will tell you, it's because I have nearly 3 million downloads. Right now, I'm on a grandfathered in program. I pay $60 a month per account for 2 accounts that give me 1.5 gigabytes of upload space for 30 days at a time. So that runs $120 a month. With the amount of downloads that I get for my podcasting network, I would be paying somewhere close to about $700 to $800 a month for my bandwidth. And so I'm all about flat fees instead of really low-cost fees. Really low-cost fees, when you get popular, it's not a good thing. So you might think, okay, well, I don't have a big audience. I think I might only get 3 or 5 or 30 or 50, maybe even 150 people, or at most maybe 500 people who download my podcast on a regular basis. And I did the math, 50 megabytes a piece. Amazon's pretty cheap. Yeah, that's great until maybe somebody like myself or Leo Laporte or somebody else just happens to mention your site, and then all of a sudden people start linking to something you talked about in your podcast, and all of a sudden people are really upset or really excited about something you said, and everybody links their social networking Twitter links, Facebook links, and LinkedIn links, and the next thing you know, your file that normally for the last 75 episodes has only ever generated 65 downloads per episode. Now you've got 150,000 people downloading that episode, and then out of the 150,000 people who are downloading that episode, now maybe 500 or 600 of them have decided to download the most recent 50 episodes of your podcast. Guess what you're going to be getting from Amazon? A big old bill. All right, Hank says, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get so animated. I just love podcasting. Can you tell? What was the name of the Soundbite software? Oh, yes, Soundbite software. Let me tell you, I'm going to show you this, but it's an ugly website. You've never seen you've probably seen some websites this ugly, but blackcatsystems.com, and then go over here to where it says Soundbite, and it's $39 available for Mac and Windows. blackcatsystems.com, Soundbite software. Let's see, Max says he's confused. Why not have Skype users call a real phone number? Skype is terrible. Mac, I am going to completely 100% disagree with you, and here is why. Because I am going to go to balancedlivingweekly.com, and what you're about ready to hear is myself talking with Father Roderick, and Father Roderick, by the way, is in Holland in the Netherlands. Here you go.
You are listening to Balanced Living Weekly, episode number 76 with Cliff Ravenscraft and Father Roderick.
Learn how to do something.
But it's all about, where is really, what makes your heart beat faster?
Yeah.
And that's probably what you should pursue.
All right. And I hear this argument that Skype is horrible a lot, but this is the other thing I want to show you, okay? If we go to this spreadsheet here, you can do this anytime yourself, by the way. You can go to gspn.tv/episode guide. And right here, you can see that I have already produced 2,703 podcast episodes, and these are all podcast episodes that I'm on. All right, so 2,703 of them, and I would say that probably about 2,000 of them, about 2,000 of them are Skype conversations, and the people sound like they're just in the studio with me. So I believe in Skype. Skype is awesome. Leanne says, thanks for the over-the-top fabulous webinar, Cliff. How long of a waiting list is it to get with you on one-on-one consulting? My waiting list is usually about a week to 2 weeks out. So if you're ever interested, just email me as soon as you know. And my consulting rates are currently $300 per hour, and I have a minimum of 1 hour per call. But I love to help people, and it's a lot of fun. So I would love to work with you one-on-one if that's what you're interested in. My friends, that is all the questions that have been submitted. I cannot believe it. Well, there you go, my friends. We are now, I can't believe it, finally at the end of the Learn How to Podcast 101 video tutorial series. I hope that this has been a huge benefit to you. Of course, my greatest desire for everyone who's gone through the Learn How to Podcast 101 video tutorial series is that they will pass it forward, that they'll tell somebody else, that you'll blog about it, and just tell the entire world about learnhowtopodcast.com. Thank you very much for valuing the work that I do here as a podcast consultant and coach, and I look forward to hearing about your successful podcast moving forward. God bless you, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.